Now we have with us well-known veteran Indologist, Global Teaching Fellow at Central European University, Dr. Katalin Aklan, who, besides being an expert in Indian studies, has also translated and compiled bilingual essays, aphorisms, and quotations of Mahatma Gandhi. She's going to give a talk on Gandhian values in today's times, particularly the spirit of khadi as a thought and not just fabric. Katalin Aklan with her Satyavarta, Talking Truth.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, dear audience, today I would like to talk shortly about Mahatma Gandhi, who is undoubtedly the greatest, the most revered, and most influential figure of 20th century politics and history. He is also called affectionately by a people of more than 1 billion souls, Bapu, or Father. His importance cannot be over-exaggerated. Certainly his greatest achievement is independence for the Indian nation, which marked the end of a 25-year struggle. His relevance, however, is far from being limited to India only. It pertains to all of humankind, and it is this relevance that I wish to emphasize today. The greatest significance Gandhi has presented to humankind is the application of non-violent methods to achieve political goals. After a history of humankind of more than 5,000 years of war and bloodshed, there came a man who commanded halt to aggression and brutal physical force and proved the whole world that it is possible to reach serious political aims without the use of violence. How was it possible? How did Gandhi become such a man to achieve this? Well, there are several kinds of answers to this. He was a well-read and well-educated person. Having studied law in London, he became acquainted with leading 19th century European and American social reform theories, such as the works of Russian writer, theoretician Leo Tolstoy. He was also influenced by Henry David Thoreau, and another great influence on him was by John Ruskin, especially on economy and equal distribution of goods. But he did not simply accept these new ideas. He distilled and transformed these and amalgamated these new ideas into his millennia-old religious background. Ahimsa, the principle of non-violence, or else the rule of causing no harm, has deep roots in Indian soil, and it is a characteristic feature of all historical Indian religions, such as Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism. Gandhi's Satyagraha theory is centered on this focal notion of nonviolence, but has at the same time deeper connotations. Satyagraha, a newly coined expression of Sanskrit words, means insistence on truth. Satya is truth. It means being at the same time, but Gandhi developed it further. This being already meant the absolute principle already in the Upanishads, but Gandhi developed it further. It meant Satya means God to him, and God also means love, and love does not allow violence. So Gandhi's political practice of nonviolence has a deeper, fully developed philosophical foundation. Also, his ideas became really holistic, and it pertains to all areas of life, all walks of life. He had very deep thoughts on politics, economics, education, medicine, and also spirituality and personal life. He lived his life from a practical approach together with his firm belief rooted in his faith in God. The path he defined for himself and for others who followed him was not an easy one. The practice of nonviolence requires much more courage than its opposite. To be brave enough to stand still in front of thousands of weapons and soldiers, to bear blows, to suffer imprisonment, requires such a strength of will and character that can be gained only from a firm belief. The nonviolent methods Gandhi advocated did not mean simple passive resistance, right on the contrary. The active means of resistance included strikes, boycotts of British institutions and items, protest marches, and all kinds of creative means to express civil disobedience. At the same time, his activity cannot be characterized by simply negative attitudes to British oppression. He took pride in his country, in his nation, in his heritage. He taught his people self-worth, self-respect, and self-confidence. He used various ways to demonstrate the true value of Indian identity. One of the most easily comprehensible ways was the use of the spinning wheel, the charkha, and the homespun khadi, the fabric that was made by truly indigenous Indian means and methods. This became the symbol of independence, as Gandhi was brilliant in finding symbols that talk to the people. The khadi, the homespun and home-woven cloth, has had a great significance since that time. That was a symbol of resistance then, a symbol of a nation being born, gradually recognizing its strength and winning its independence. Ever since then, homespun cloth has remained a symbol of national identity, recognizing India's indigenous wealth, which is easily attainable to all through industry and creativity. Nowadays, this special Indian material is becoming fashionable again, offering a valuable option both for ladies and gentlemen. Besides khadi, what else can we keep from the Mahatma's teachings? This question comes back again and again at international conferences, in articles, whether is Mahatma's, or are the Mahatma's teachings, something really idealistic which cannot be attained in nowadays life, or is there something that we can keep and practice in our lives? Well, in my opinion, the answer is definitely in the affirmative. Most of all, he also taught expressively and outspokenly that tolerance and nonviolence is not something that is true only for an oppressed nation, but this is something that we can practice in our everyday lives. Everyday people can and are supposed to use tolerance when they talk to each other, when they turn to each other. That's something that bridges two people. Also, besides these very important values, he put great emphasis on living in harmony with nature, both on the macro environmental scale and the micro environmental scale. What do I mean by that? The macro environment is the earth, the globe, our natural environment. He was very outspoken. He wrote books and articles about how to use agricultural methods that are in harmony with the laws of nature, how to use production in harmony with nature, and also on the micro environmental scale regarding the human body. Gandhiji was very much aware of the laws of the human body, and he also taught people how to study these laws, how to recognize these laws, and how to live in accordance with the natural laws of our body, to do bodily exercises and to apply the correct methods and types of food and eating, and also how to use natural therapy when an illness comes. So in this way, in other words, bodily exercise such as yoga and natural healing methods such as Ayurveda are also parts of Gandhi's teachings in a way. So finally, if I would like to summarize what we can use in our lives today, I would say that exhibiting the courage the Mahatma has taught us, showing tolerance towards our fellow human beings in all our relationships, living in harmony with nature. Keeping to these values, I would like to encourage all of us to be the vehicles of the change we would like to see in the world. Thank you very much.
I was so happy to be part of the Pravasi Bhartiya Diwas, and as the ambassador said, we are representing our country. So I feel so honored and privileged to be part of the Indians living abroad, living in Hungary. And on this day where we are commemorating Gandhiji, Bapuji, I tell myself to continue to be that change that I want to see in the world. And this evening has just reinforced that value, that ideal that has always been part of me. My work embodies that ideal, and this evening just strengthened it even more.